Ladies and gentlemen, respect is not something you can buy. It's not something you can demand. It's something you EAR in. And the truth is, the world is watching you, how you move, how you speak, how you handle pressure. And whether they admit it or not, they are measuring if your actions line up with the weight of your words. There are 5 habits, 5 termites that eat away at the foundation of your character. And if you don't evict them, you will find yourself building relationships, careers, and dreams on weak ground. Excuses are the language of stagnation. Every time you make one, you're handing away your credibility piece by piece. You can't be respected if every time you fall short, you have a reason instead of a result. Respect grows where accountability lives, when you own your actions, both the wins and the failures. You tell the world you are a person of integrity. Your words are your currency, and careless spending leaves you broken credibility. Stop letting emotions be your microphone. Think before you speak, because one reckless sentence can erase years of trust. People respect those who speak with wisdom, not just volume. A negative tongue is a sign of a negative heart. If you are known for tearing people down, don't be surprised when no one stands up for you. Choose to be the voice that builds, the voice that lifts, the voice that adds value. Respect always walks in the room where honor lives. Unstable actions destroy dependable reputations. If people can't predict your behavior, they can't trust your character. Stop changing your principles to match your crowd. Let your yes mean yes and your no mean no. Be the same person in the spotlight and in the shadows. Respect isn't given to the timid. It's given to those who walk in confidence and courage. Stop apologizing for your gifts. Stop hiding your brilliance because it makes others uncomfortable. Step up. Speak up, show up. People respect those who respect themselves enough to shine. Fastest ways to lose the respect of others is to live in the shadow of excuses. Excuses are comfortable. They feel safe. They let us shift the weight of our mistakes onto something else, onto someone else, onto circumstances, timing, the economy, the boss, the weather, whatever convenient scapegoat we can find. But excuses are not just harmless little explanations. They are corrosive. They eat away at trust. They dilute integrity. They signal to the world that you are more interested in protecting your image than growing your character. Excuse making is an invisible thief. It robs you quietly. It doesn't come in the middle of the night kicking down your door. It seeps in slowly, first in small conversations, then in your inner dialogue, then in the way people perceive you. And before long, it steals something you may never fully get back: credibility. Think about it. How do you feel about someone who always has a reason why they didn't deliver? First, you might understand. After all, life happens. But when the pattern repeats, when every shortfall is followed by a polished explanation, what happens in your mind? You stop believing in their word. Their promises lose weight. Their deadlines feel like suggestions. And their leadership, it becomes a fragile shell, easily cracked. It's not that people expect perfection. They expect honesty. They expect responsibility. They want to know that when things go wrong, and they will, you will stand up and own it. They want to know that you won't disappear behind a wall of justifications. They want to see that you are sturdy enough to face the truth, even when the truth is uncomfortable. Here's the harsh reality: excuses keep you in the same place. When you blame the traffic for being late every morning, traffic never changes, but neither do you. When you blame your lack of success on the system, the economy, or your upbringing, those things remain the same, but so do you. Excuses freeze your growth because they trick you into thinking you are powerless. They make you a victim in your own story. Taking responsibility flips the script. It says, yes, this is what happened. Yes, I made a mistake. Yes, I fell short, but here's what I will do to make it right. Responsibility is ownership. It's maturity, it's strength, and it's magnetic, because people trust those who don't run from the truth. When you own your actions, even your failures, you send a message. I can be trusted. You are saying, I'm not perfect, but I'm honest. I may stumble, but I will stand back up. I don't need to protect my ego more than I protect my integrity. That is the kind of character that earns respect in boardrooms, families, communities, and friendships. See, you have to understand that excuses might protect you from embarrassment in the short term, but they destroy you in the long term. They are like painting over mold. It looks good for a moment, but underneath the rot is still there. If you want a strong house, you've got to clear out the mold, even if it means tearing down some walls. That's what responsibility does. It forces you to face the mess so you can clean it up instead of covering it up. Some people make excuses because they think admitting fault will make them look weak. But the truth is the opposite. Admitting fault makes you look strong. Weakness is hiding behind a story. Strength is saying, I messed up big enough to deal with it. Leaders who own their failures are leaders people follow. Parents who own their mistakes raise children who respect them. Friends who admit when they're wrong build friendships that last. Be real with you. People are watching you more in your failures than in your successes. Anybody can be graceful when they win. But when you lose, when you fall short, when you are caught off guard, that's when your true character is revealed. And that's when excuses will try to seduce you. They will whisper, don't admit it. Defend yourself, protect your image. But if you want lasting respect, you have to reject that temptation. You have to let your mistakes be seen so your growth can be seen. Responsibility doesn't just change how people see you. It changes how you see yourself. The moment you take ownership, you move from being a passenger in life to being the driver. You stop waiting for someone else to fix things and you start fixing them yourself. That builds confidence. That builds resilience, builds the kind of inner authority that no one can take away from you. Here's the beautiful part. When you stop making excuses, you start making progress. Instead of saying, I couldn't do it because of, you start asking, how can I make it happen next time? That one shift will transform your career, your relationships, and your reputation because people respect problem solvers, not excuse makers. Maybe you've been in a season where excuses have been your default. You've been avoiding hard conversations. You've been explaining away broken promises. You've been blaming circumstances for the lack of movement in your life. But hear me. You can decide today that the cycle ends. You can decide that from this day forward, you will be a person of ownership, a person who doesn't hide from the truth, but harnesses it to grow. It's not about being flawless, it's about being fearless with the truth. That's what separates those who are respected from those who are pitied. So, drop the excuses, stand tall, speak plainly, take responsibility for your life in every area, because the moment you do, you will notice something amazing. People will start believing in you again. Your word will carry weight again, and your credibility will rise like a phoenix from the ashes of your past excuses. There's a power that lives inside of you, and it rests in something so small you barely think about it until it's too late. Your tongue. Small piece of flesh has started wars, destroyed families, split friendships, and wrecked reputations. It has also healed hearts, restored hope, inspired movements, and birthed visions. Words are not just sounds, they are seeds. Every time you open your mouth, you are planting something. The only question is, what are you planting? When you speak without thinking, you hand the steering wheel of your life to your emotions. You let anger, frustration, fear, or pride drive your mouth straight into a collision. And once words are out, you can't pull them back. You can apologize. You can explain. You can try to soften them. But like a nail driven into a piece of wood, even if you remove it, the hole remains. Too many relationships have died, not because of what was done, but because of what was said in the heat of the moment. People remember words long after they forget actions. Careless sentence can replay in someone's mind for years. You may have spoken it in frustration, but they will hear it in their soul every time they think of you. That is the power of words. When you think before speaking, you give yourself the gift of clarity. You give yourself the chance to ask, is what I'm about to say true? Is it kind? Is it necessary? Is it wise? Sometimes the best thing you can say is nothing at all. Silence is not weakness, it's wisdom. Silence is the filter that keeps you from turning a moment of anger into a lifetime of regret. Here's the truth: trust is fragile. It can take years to build and seconds to destroy. You could be dependable, hardworking, and loyal. But if your words are reckless, people will always walk on eggshells around you. They will never feel safe in your presence. And if people can't feel safe with you, They won't stay close to you. Think about a bridge. Every time you speak with honesty, grace, and self-control, you lay down a plank of trust. Every time you speak recklessly, you rip up a plank. You can only pull up so many planks before the bridge collapses. And once a bridge is gone, it's not impossible to rebuild, but it's a long, hard process. Speaking without thinking is not just about hurting others, it's about sabotaging yourself. Sometimes the words you blurt out in a hurry become the evidence used against you. You might say something to prove a point, but in the wrong setting, proves the opposite. Words spoken in frustration can close doors you didn't even know were open. That's why thinking before speaking is not just a kindness to others, it's a form of self-protection. Let's be real. Some of us have lost opportunities not because we weren't talented, but because we couldn't control our mouths. Some of us have damaged our credibility not because we weren't capable, but because we didn't pause before we spoke. You can be the smartest person in the room, but if your words are careless, people will stop listening. When you pause before speaking, you're not just filtering out the bad, you're making space for the good. You're giving your mind time to choose words that build instead of break, words that heal instead of hurt, words that open doors instead of slamming them shut. That's what separates the wise from the foolish, the ability to speak with purpose instead of impulse. Now, let me be clear. Thinking before speaking doesn't mean you never speak truth. It means you deliver truth in a way that can be received. You can be right and still be wrong if your delivery destroys the relationship. Wisdom is not just knowing what to say. It's knowing how and when to say it. Here's something many people overlook. Your words reveal what's inside of you. The mouth is just the microphone of the heart. If bitterness is in you, will come out in your words. If pride is in you, it will come out in your words. If kindness is in you, it will come out in your words. So if you want to change the way you speak, you have to start by changing the way you think and feel. Before you speak, ask yourself, will my words add value or subtract value? Will they leave the person better or worse? Will they bring peace or stir chaos? Those questions are not just about protecting others, they're about protecting your influence. People are drawn to those whose words bring clarity, encouragement, and direction. The ability to think before you speak is a sign of maturity. Children speak whatever comes to their minds. Wise adults understand that not every thought deserves a voice. Not every opinion needs to be shared. Not every truth needs to be shouted in the moment. Self-control is the guardrail that keeps your mouth from driving off a cliff. And here's the beauty of it. When you become known as someone who speaks with thought and intention, your words gain weight. People listen more carefully because they know you don't speak recklessly. They know that when you open your mouth, it's worth hearing. That's how you build influence. That's how you build trust. Some of you reading this know exactly what I'm talking about because you've seen the damage firsthand. You've been on the receiving end of words that cut so deep you still feel the sting years later. Or maybe you've been the one who spoke without thinking and you're still trying to repair the damage. The good news is this: you can start today. You can decide that from this moment forward, you will slow down before you speak. You will choose your words as carefully as you would choose the ingredients in meal you're preparing for someone you love. You have to treat your words like currency. Spend them with intention. Invest them where they will grow. Avoid wasting them on arguments, gossip, meaningless noise. When you speak, let it be with the aim to build, guide, and inspire. Because here's the bottom line: your words are your legacy. I challenge you to love enough. Long after you're gone, people may forget the clothes you wore or the house you lived in, but they will remember how your words made them feel. They will remember the encouragement that gave them hope or the careless sentence that broke their spirit. So think before speaking. Pause before reacting. Let wisdom sit in the driver's seat of your mouth. Because the right words at the right time, in the right tone, can change everything. And the wrong words, they can cost you everything. There is a poison that spreads faster than any disease. It doesn't live in the body. It lives in conversations. It is gossip. It is negativity. And it is far more destructive than most people care to admit. You can't see it in the air, but you can feel it in the atmosphere. The moment it enters a room, the mood shifts, the energy changes, trust begins to wither. Gossip is not just talking, it's a transfer of spirit. When you speak ill of someone behind their back, you are planting seeds of doubt, distrust, and dishonor in the heart of the listener. And here's the dangerous part: the seed may not grow overnight, but it will grow. It will take root in people's minds and start shaping how they see that person, even without evidence. You've now altered someone else's perception with your words. That's not just casual conversation. That's character assassination. Negativity is its twin. Where gossip tears down specific people, negativity drains the spirit of everything around it. It's that constant complaining, nothing is ever good enough attitude, that refusal to see the light in any situation. Negative people walk into a room and pull the joy out of it like a vacuum. And if you spend enough time around them, you start to breathe their air until you sound just like them. But here's the truth you need to understand. Gossip and negativity don't just hurt others, they hurt you. The moment you become known as someone who talks about people behind their backs, people will start wondering what you say about them when they're not around. You may not notice it right away, but doors will start closing. Invitations will stop coming. Trust will quietly fade away because no one feels safe in the presence of a loose tongue. And if you're known for negativity, people will avoid you, not because they hate you, but because they want to protect their peace. No one wants to pour their dreams into a bucket with a hole in it. If every time someone shares good news, you respond with a complaint, a doubt, or yeah, you're telling the world you are not a safe place for hope. Honor is built on trust, respect, and integrity. Gossip and negativity are like termites to that foundation. They don't break it all at once, they eat it slowly. By the time you realize what's happening, your reputation is already collapsing. Here's something you must remember. You cannot be both a destroyer and a builder at the same time. You cannot tear people down and expect others to lift you up. The measure you use will be measured back to you. If you sow dishonor, you will reap dishonor. If you sow encouragement, you will reap encouragement. That's not just moral truth, that's life truth. So, what's the alternative? Be a voice of upliftment. Make the decision that when your name is brought up in a conversation, it will be associated with life-giving words, not life-draining words. Be the person who can be trusted with sensitive information and who uses their voice to defend rather than destroy. When gossip tries to recruit you, don't just refuse to participate, redirect the conversation. If someone starts speaking negatively about a person who isn't present, you can respond with, let's talk to them directly, or I've had a different experience with them. Those words might feel small, but they are walls against the flood of gossip. Being a voice of upliftment means seeing the good in people even when it's easy to see the bad. It means choosing to highlight strengths instead of weaknesses. It doesn't mean you ignore problems or pretend everything is perfect. It means you address issues in the right place, at the right time, with the right person, instead of poisoning the ears of others. You have to understand that words have power, creative power, destructive power. They are not just sounds that disappear in the air. They shape reality. Every rumor you spread has the potential to ruin someone's livelihood, their friendships, their marriage, their peace of mind. And you may never see the full damage, but you will be held accountable for it, not only by others, but by your own conscience. Some people gossip because they think it makes them look important. They have inside information. But here's the irony. Gossip doesn't make you look connected. It makes you look untrustworthy. It signals to everyone listening that you cannot be trusted with valuable information. People might listen to you for entertainment. They won't lean on you for leadership. Negativity works the same way. People may laugh at your sarcastic jokes or agree with your complaints in the moment, but over time they will drift away because negativity is exhausting. It wears people down. The human spirit craves hope, joy, and light, and if all you give is darkness, they will search for light elsewhere. Being a voice of upliftment is not about being fake. It's about being intentional. It's about understanding that your words can either contribute to the problem or the solution. If you see someone struggling, you can choose to criticize them behind their back, or you can choose to encourage them to their face. If a situation is challenging, you can either focus on what's broken or on what can be fixed. And here's the miracle of it: when you consistently choose to uplift rather than tear down, you become magnetic. People will want to be around you because they feel better after talking to you. They'll trust you with their struggles because they know you won't use them as punchlines in someone else's conversation. They'll bring you into rooms of opportunity because they know you'll protect the unity of the room rather than poison it. Let your voice be the one that stops the spread of toxic words. Let your presence be the one that shifts the atmosphere from heaviness to hope. Don't just avoid gossip and negativity. Be actively known for encouragement, for speaking life, for being the person people can depend on to lift the conversation higher. Because here's the truth, people. Remember how you make them feel. If your words make them feel small, they will quietly withdraw from you. If your words make them feel valued, they will run towards you. The choice is yours every time you open your mouth. So choose to be a builder, not a breaker. Choose to be a fountain, not a drain. Choose to be the voice in the room that speaks life, defends the absent, and plants seeds of honor that will bear fruit for years to come. Because when you commit to uplifting others, you won't have to demand respect. Your life will speak it for you. Trust is the currency of every relationship, personal, professional, spiritual. Without it, everything collapses. You can have charm, talent, beauty, and skill, but if people cannot rely on you, they will not respect you. And one of the fastest ways to drain the account of trust is through inconsistency. Inconsistency is the enemy of dependability. It sends a message that says, you can't really count on me because I don't even know which version of me is showing up today. One day you are committed, the next day you disappear. One day your word is gold, the next day it's a rumor. That unpredictability doesn't just confuse people, it frustrates them. And over time, convinces them to stop expecting anything from you at all. When you are inconsistent, you might think people will give you the benefit of the doubt. They won't. They will start to build their plans around the assumption that you won't come through. And when people stop depending on you, you've already lost something greater than an opportunity. You've lost their trust. Inconsistency is like a flickering light. At first, people may be patient with it, waiting for it to steady. But after a while, it becomes irritating, unreliable, even useless for the very purpose it was designed for. If your behavior, your attitude, your commitment, or your values keep flickering, people will eventually stop standing in your light. Here's the hard truth. It's not enough to be right sometimes. You have to be reliable all the time. That doesn't mean you never make mistakes. It means your character doesn't change based on convenience. It means your values don't bend just because the crowd changes. It means your word means the same thing on Monday as it does on Friday. The danger with inconsistency is that it often starts small. You show up late one time and think it's no big deal. You break one promise and say, they'll understand. You skip one responsibility and tell yourself, I'll make it up later. But those small cracks start to form patterns. Before you know it, your reputation is that of someone who might come through if it's convenient. People respect consistency because it's rare. In a world full of shifting priorities, moving values, and changing commitments, someone who is steady stands out like a lighthouse in the storm. That's why consistency is not just a habit, it's a statement. It tells the world, I can be trusted. My yes means yes, my no means no, and you won't have to wonder which version of me you're getting today. But let's be real, staying consistent is not easy. It means showing up even when you don't feel like it. It means keeping your word when circumstances change. It means holding to your values when temptation tries to pull you away. Consistency is not built in comfort, it's built in discipline. Some people think inconsistency is harmless because it doesn't always break relationships instantly. What they don't realize is that inconsistency slowly drains the emotional bank account of the people around them. Every time you fail to follow through, it's a withdrawal. Every time you shift your values to match the room you're in, it's another withdrawal. Eventually, the account runs dry, And when someone finally needs to count on you, there's nothing left. Think about it. Would you cross a bridge if you were told most of the time it's stable, but sometimes it collapses? No, because trust requires always, not sometimes. In the same way, people cannot fully trust someone whose reliability depends on the day, the mood, or the convenience. Consistency is also a reflection of self-respect. When you honor your own word, you are saying, I value myself enough to keep my commitments. When you keep changing your standards to please people, you are saying, my values are negotiable if the pressure is high enough. That kind of instability will always be noticed, even if people don't call it out directly. And here's another truth inconsistency confuses not only others, but also yourself. If your actions keep shifting, you will struggle to build momentum in your own life. You'll keep starting things, but never finishing them. You'll keep making promises to yourself and breaking them, and eventually you won't even believe in your own word. That's a dangerous place to be, because if you can't trust yourself, you'll never walk in full confidence. Being consistent doesn't mean you never adapt. It means that when you adapt, your core values remain intact. Your delivery might change, but your integrity doesn't. Your methods might shift. Your principles remain the same. It means the foundation of who you are doesn't crumble just because the environment changes. To be consistent, you must decide who you are before you walk into a room. If you don't, the room will decide for you. You have to anchor yourself to something deeper than emotions, because emotions are unstable. One day they lift you, the next day they pull you under. If you live by feelings alone, you will always be inconsistent. But if you live by values, you will have an unshakable compass that keeps you steady even when the winds of life change direction. Consistency is also contagious. When people see you show up faithfully, they are inspired to raise their own standards. They start to believe that reliability is possible because they've seen it in you. And on the flip side, inconsistency is contagious too. If you are the leader who cancels meetings last minute, your team will start arriving late. If you are the friend who flakes on plans, others will stop committing to you. Your habits set the temperature of the relationships you're in. This is why you must fight for consistency. Fight to be the same person in private as you are in public. Fight to have your word mean something even when it costs you. Fight to keep your commitments even when they are inconvenient, because every time you do, you are adding bricks to the wall of trust that surrounds your name. People respect those who are dependable because it makes them feel safe, and safety is the foundation of every healthy connection. Without it, relationships turn shallow and transactional. With it, they grow deep and lasting. So here's the call. If you want respect, be consistent. Don't let your reliability depend on your feelings. Don't let your values shift with the crowd. Don't let your word become a coin you flip in the air to see how it lands. Decide who you are, what you stand for, how you will show up, and then show up that way every time. Because when you are consistent, you won't have to convince people to trust you. They will see it in your pattern. They will feel it in your presence. And they will build their lives and decisions knowing that if you said it, you meant it. And if you meant it, you will do it. There is a lie many of us have been taught to believe, a lie that says, if you shrink yourself, if you downplay your gifts, if you make yourself smaller, people will like you more. That is not humility. That is self-sabotage. Playing small is not about being humble. It's about hiding. And you cannot hide and lead at the same time. Respect is not given to those who bury their potential to make others comfortable. Respect is drawn to those who stand in the fullness of who they are, without apology, without hesitation, without fear. People cannot follow someone who is always afraid to step into the light. When you play small, you are telling the world, I don't believe in the value I bring. And if you don't believe in your own value, why should anyone else? Playing small is like having a treasure chest, but keeping it locked in the basement. You know it's there, but no one else gets to see it, touch it, or benefit from it. Some of you have been hiding your brilliance because you're afraid of being judged. You're afraid that if you shine too brightly, someone will call you arrogant or accuse you of thinking you're better than them. Let me tell you something. The people who truly love and respect you want to see you win. They want to see your light shine. The ones who are threatened by your greatness are the ones who need to deal with their own shadows, not dim yours. Playing small doesn't protect relationships, it weakens them. It doesn't keep you safe, it keeps you stagnant. The truth is, you're not doing anyone a favor by suppressing your talent, your voice, your vision. The world is not inspired by what you hide, it's transformed by what you share. Confidence is not arrogance. Arrogance says, I'm better than you. Confidence says, I'm secure in who I am. Arrogance steps on others to rise higher. Confidence lifts others as it climbs. Arrogance is fueled by insecurity. Confidence is fueled by truth. And truth is this: you were created with purpose, and your gifts were given to you for a reason. When you step into your God-given confidence, you are not stealing the spotlight. You are fulfilling your assignment. You are showing others what is possible. Your courage gives others permission to be courageous. Your excellence raises the standard for those around you. Playing small limits respect because respect requires visibility. You cannot influence what you will not reveal. If your voice is always silenced, if your hand is always pulled back, if your ideas are always hidden in a notebook instead of shared in the room, people will not see you as a leader. They will see you as a shadow. Think about every person you admire. They are not admired because they stayed invisible. They are admired because they showed up, spoke up, and stood up for what they believed in. They didn't apologize for their talent. They developed it. They didn't hide their voice. They used it. And in doing so, they earned respect, not because they were perfect, but because they were present. Walking in your God-given confidence doesn't mean you will never feel fear. It means you refuse to let fear make your decisions. It means you speak even when your voice shakes. It means you take the opportunity even when you're not sure you're ready. It means you stop waiting for permission to be who you already are. Confidence is not about pretending to have it all together. It's about standing tall even when you don't. It's about knowing your worth and refusing to discount yourself just because someone else doesn't see it. It's about understanding that your gifts are not random. They are part of your assignment, and hiding them is not humility. It's disobedience to the calling on your life. Playing small also sends the wrong message to those who are watching you. Whether you realize it or not, someone is looking to you as an example. If they see you hiding, they will think hiding is the way to live. But if they see you standing tall, taking up space, walking boldly in your calling, they will be inspired to do the same. You were not created to blend in, you were created to stand out. Standing out doesn't mean you have to be loud or flashy. It means being authentically, unapologetically you. It means not shrinking your dreams to fit into someone else's comfort zone. It means speaking up when you have something valuable to say instead of waiting for the right moment that never comes. There is a verse that says you are the light of the world, and no one lights a lamp and hides it under a basket. Playing small is exactly that, hiding your light. And when you hide your light, you rob others of the clarity, hope, inspiration that light could have brought into their lives. Respect grows where courage lives. Courage is not the absence of fear. It's the decision to move forward in spite of it. When people see you taking risks, using your gifts, refusing to be defined by other people's limitations, they respect you. They may not always agree with you, but they will respect you. So stop apologizing for your greatness. Stop downplaying your achievements so others won't feel uncomfortable. Stop rejecting opportunities because you don't feel ready enough. The truth is, you may never feel fully ready. But readiness is not the key to respect. Courage is, consistency is, authenticity is. When you walk in your God-given confidence, you stop asking, oh, am I to do this? And you start saying, who am I not to? You start realizing that your gifts are not about you. They are about the people who need what you carry. Your voice is for someone's encouragement. Your ideas are for someone's breakthrough. Your courage is for someone's freedom. Playing small may make you invisible to criticism, but it will also make you invisible to opportunity. You cannot influence from the shadows. You cannot lead from the background, and you cannot earn respect by hiding the very things that make you worthy of it. So step up. Speak out. Show the world the fullness of who you are. Not because you need their validation, but because you have been entrusted with something too valuable to hide. When you do, you'll find that respect doesn't just follow confidence, it demands it. Respect is not built on talent alone. It is not established on beauty, money, or titles. Respect is the fruit of character. And character is shaped not only by what you do, but also by what you stop doing. You cannot expect to command the admiration of others if you are still entertaining habits that silently destroy the image you project. People often focus on adding new skills, new connections, new opportunities, neglect the vital work of removing the patterns that are quietly eroding their credibility. It is like pouring clean water into a cup full of dirt. The water will never be pure until the dirt is removed. Lasting respect is attracted, not demanded. The magnet that draws it is your integrity, consistency, and authenticity. But these cannot shine through if they are covered by the rust of bad habits. Removing bad habits is like clearing the weeds out of a garden. Only then can healthy growth take root. If you refuse to uproot them, they will keep choking the life out of your progress. It is not enough to dream about the person you want to be. You must also have the courage to confront the person you no longer want to be. One of the reasons some people struggle to gain respect is because they believe they can simply add respectability to their lives without subtracting the elements that breed disrespect. You cannot build a sturdy house on a foundation that is already cracked. The cracks may be hidden at first, but eventually they will show. The foundation must be repaired before the building can stand tall. In the same way, you must first remove dishonoring habits before your good qualities can truly be seen and trusted. Bad habits are not always obvious. They can be subtle patterns, procrastination, inconsistency, poor communication, lack of follow-through that slowly eat away at how others perceive you. Sometimes it is not the loud mistakes that cost you respect, but the quiet ones that go unnoticed until people start to pull away without telling you why. This is why self-awareness is critical. You cannot change what you will not admit exists. You have to take a hard, honest look in the mirror and identify which habits are undermining your efforts. Removing bad habits is also a sign of humility. It tells the world, I am not perfect, but I am willing to grow. People respect those who are willing to evolve, those who can say, I was wrong or I can do better. Pride clings to bad habits because it does not want to admit fault. Humility lets them go because it values growth over ego. When you remove habits that no longer serve you, you are not just improving your life, you are sending a clear message that you are a person of integrity, someone worth trusting and following. This process of removal requires discipline. Habits, even bad ones, are comfortable. They are familiar, easy to slip back into because they do not demand immediate change. But if you want lasting respect, you cannot be married to comfort. You must be willing to embrace discomfort for the sake of transformation. You must choose long-term honor over short-term ease. That means saying no to actions, thoughts, and behaviors that feel good in the moment but damage your reputation in the long run. When you strip away the habits that no longer align with your values, something powerful happens. You create space for better habits to take root. Think of it like pruning a tree. The pruning process may look like loss because you are cutting things away, but in truth, it is preparing the tree for greater fruitfulness. The same is true for you. Removing bad habits is not a loss. It is a preparation for abundance. People notice when you make this shift. They may not always applaud you openly, but they will feel it. They will sense your growth. They will begin to trust your word more, to believe in your consistency, to see that you are serious about the life you are building. Over time, this creates a reputation that speaks louder than your voice ever could. Person who is intentional about their character will always stand out in a world that often values image over integrity. There is also a ripple effect to removing bad habits. As you make changes in your own life, you inspire others to confront their own patterns. Your transformation becomes a living testimony that change is possible. People respect not only what you say, but what you live. When they see you actively aligning your actions with your values, it challenges them to rise higher as well. Let's be clear, removing bad habits is not a one-time event. It is a continuous process. As you grow, You will discover new habits that need to be addressed. What was acceptable for the person you used to be may no longer be acceptable for the person you are becoming. That is the beauty of growth. It keeps calling you higher. The goal is not perfection, the goal is progress. Every habit you remove is another brick laid in the foundation of your respect. What do I need to let go of? What patterns keep me small? What behaviors contradict the person I claim to be? Then commit to doing the work, not just for a week or a month, but for as long as it takes. Respect is built in the quiet, consistent decisions you make every day. It is built when no one is watching. It is built in the moments you choose to do the right thing, even when the wrong thing feels easier. When you remove the habits that hold you back, you do more than clear space for respect. You create a life worth respecting. You become the kind of person whose presence speaks before they say a word. Kind of person people look up to, not because you demand it, but because you live it. And that, my friend, is how lasting respect is earned, not in the spotlight, but in the shadows where you quietly dismantle everything that does not serve your purpose, so that when you step into the light, you shine without apology.